Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calsters.
And today is Sunday, July 12th, 2015. I almost said June for some reason, and I just checked the date. Oh well. Best laid plans, right? This is episode 217. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new,
thanks for giving us a shot.
And we hope you'll come back in the future. So, I would say this is a short show, but we have a book review for you this week, so that'll be good. But not a whole lot of progress. Things have been a little crazy on both of our parts this week, so let's just jump into a quick week in review. Not much to really talk about here, other than I've been spending most of my days rescanning and dyeing, literally from when I wake up to when I go to bed, prepping for SSK, and of course, overstock for stitches coming up right around the corner after that. So it's been a bit crazy around here, and I don't think it'll let up for a couple more weeks. But I'm really excited to go to SSK, if not for the retreat, but to get a couple of days away from rescanning and making mini skeins. That'll be my leading man's job while I'm away. He's like, ha ha ha, yeah. I'm like, no, you don't get a break. We need to keep going. So, but it's my leading man's birthday tomorrow, so that's exciting. And he's off tomorrow and Tuesday, so he doesn't want to do too much with the business tomorrow, and I don't blame him. We'll probably go out to eat. And then Tuesday will be all packing of the trailer. And then I'll leave bright and early Wednesday morning for the Super Summer Knit Together. That's what SSK stands for, if you're new. Which is in Nashville, Tennessee.
And it's hosted by the lovely Knit Girls, Laura and Leslie.
And if you're not watching their video podcast,
you should.
If you watch ours, you should watch them. So that's pretty much been my week. I did take Corn Dog in. He had what do you call it? He was neutered while we were at the ZK, and so I had to take him back in on Monday to get his stitches out. And I was telling Callie he might have gotten a few of them by himself. You know, they say dogs are smart. They can work around the cone of shame. Anyway, so the rest were taken out, which was fine. And he's been pretty good about that. So that was kind of like the exciting thing this week of getting out of the house. I did go to the local alpaca farm on Tuesday and handed over the Nora's sweater, which has been on the needles since January. She loved it, which is great, because I was kind of like, But I told her no more sweaters. I said one project right, I walked away with 3. She had 5, but I talked her out of 2 of them. One's on the wayside until she gets some more milled yarn back, and the other one, she is getting some other solids dyed up by somebody else, and she wanted me to create a variegated to match these solids together, and I was like, you should probably do that through the other dyer, because I'm not going to be able to match things without seeing it, and It's just too hard, you know. She knows, that other dyer, whoever that is, knows their intensities and dyes and things like that. So we didn't do that, but I walked away with a stole wrap thing, which is last on the list, and then 2 shawls, and I need to dye up yarn for those 2 shawls. One's a 3 color, which is going to be 2 naturals and a dyed color, and then another one's a 2 color shawl, which I'm going to dye up into natural with that. So that's on the back burner for right now. Told her I'd get done when it gets done, but and that's about it. So
I thought we were supposed to hold you to it, that you were going to walk away with one.
But I look at it this way, like, no offense, she is about 45 minutes away from me, so when I say local, Central Illinois local.
She's closer to me than
right.
You.
And I had to, she comes out here sometimes and whatnot, but things didn't work out, so I kept putting it off, meeting with her, so I said I'll come out to the farm. But especially with the truck now, that's a decent amount of gas, you know. So I figured if it's less to get it, but yet I still give them to her as I finish each one. You know, I don't finish all 3 and then give them to her, but I figured, anyway.
Cool.
So that was about it. And then from Wednesday on, I pretty much lived next to the rescanner, watching podcasts and making mini skeins and skeins regular yarn and dyeing gradients and all that fun stuff. So that's my week.
My week has been crazy busy. Monday was okay. Tuesday was chaotic. Monday I got asked, hey, would you mind driving down to the state 4-H office, which is about an hour from where I live. And I said, sure, what do you need? So we had to pick up some banners for an event that we were doing. And then they were like, would you mind taking them back on Friday afternoon too? And I was like, sure. So I am driving down to Champaign, and it is pouring rain, which is the norm for Central Illinois in general. Yeah. And so it was a little bit crazy, and there was construction, but they weren't working on construction because one of the rain, and two, because our state employees that are on construction are on hold because, well, they can't work if they're not getting paid and or have the money to continue those projects, which is a little alarming since what they were working on wasn't like, side of the road kind of thing. No, they're bridges. They are bridges. They are not meant to be left undone because that's scary. So when I came back Friday, I was really happy to see that there was a small crew and they had finished up the one bridge, or at least had done what needed to be done to stabilize it. So that was exciting and didn't feel so terrified when I drove underneath it. So yay, Illinois. But I don't know. So that was Wednesday. Thursday I was out sick. I was actually really, really sick. And Friday I got it together to go into work because I had about 8 billion things to do. So one of which happened to be drive back down to the Champaign office and do that. So I think it's always, as much of it is a drive, it's always nice to be kind of connected to the university that supports you and your job. And so it's just kind of nice to be down in that atmosphere because kind of like just as a general thing, like extension is not a whole huge part of, the campus community. Mm-hmm. And in fact, a lot of the campus community doesn't know about us. And it's kind of weird because we know a lot that's going on campus. Yeah. And so it's kind of neat to just be down there and kind of feel a part of something that's bigger than yourself than when you're in the field offices. So
maybe for your job. For me, I don't care to go down to the district office. Yeah. It doesn't really do much for me, but
it's kind of neat because right now it's summer and they just hung up all of their banners and stuff for the fall for the kids to get ready and for some of their summer camps. But they have all of the banners on the street poles that has all the different academic and sports accomplishments that they've done over the last 50 years. And it's kind of neat because they've done some retro pictures on them, and it's just kind of neat to see that, because you don't really get to see that, in the field office. So, and just kind of see what they're doing on campus. And so that was kind of nice to go back to campus. Let's see. Other than that, it's just been really busy. Yesterday I worked in the office. It was Saturday. To make up for Thursday, I could have used sick time, but we're just so behind right now, or at least I feel behind. So I worked on our fare packets, and we had a huge thunderstorm come through. If you saw my Instagram account, that's why, that was only a small fraction of the fare packets that we had go out. There was about 800 sitting in another office, so that was about 200 sitting right there with me. And I was like, well, because I was sitting in the auditorium, which is surrounded by glass. So I was like, well, I'm going to watch the storm come in. And I have the weather radio right next to me. So it's like, well, if I need to take shelter, I'll hear the weather radio. So that was kind of interesting. There was a lot of fire trucks out in the area for damage and whatnot. So, yeah. Other than that, it's not been too crazy busy other than at work. Home life's pretty good. So, my weekend review.
So, what's taking a bow this week? I have something, but I can't show you. I finished my test knit for Paula Emmons Feasley. It is for the Wild Goose Shawlette. She just talked about it on her most recent podcast. And it is going to be released onto Ravelry sometime tomorrow, the 13th, right?
I think so.
Tomorrow's the 13th. Today's the 12th, right? The 13th, yes, because it's Andy's birthday. July 13th, it's going to be released, and then it'll kind of have its big kickoff while at SSK. I designed my SSK colorway this year in relation to the shawl. The colorway is called Wild Goose Chase, which I've showed off the past couple of weeks if you're interested. I can't show it to you because officially the pattern doesn't come out till tomorrow, so if this gets posted today, yada, yada, yada. But I will show it to you when I get back from SSK. If you're going to be at SSK, Paula will be wearing her sample. I will be wearing mine. Mine will be up in the booth. Somehow I'll have it up. And she also did one. Her original test knit of that project was done in a skein of another Crafty Girl. So there will also be one in the another Crafty Girl booth at SSK as well. So I'm really happy with it. It's blocked. Everything's good to go. I showed Callie. It's got Paula written all over it, if you know her designs. But it is very, very simple. Paula mentioned on her podcast that if you're new to lace, it would be a good shawl for that.
Most
so
definitely.
I used 94 grams of our showcase base, which is 490 yards. So I used about 460-something yards of yarn. She calls any from 400 on up. I followed the pattern to a T, and that's all I had left. So your mileage may vary. My gauge may be off from Paula's. I've test knit for her before and not had too many issues, but I did not measure my gauge for this or whatnot. The other thing is, if you are coming to the Super Summer Knit Together, the first 20 people who buy a skein of Showcase in my booth on Saturday will get the pattern for free. Now that's the printed out pattern. If you want a digital copy, you will need to purchase it through Ravelry to get that. Paula is doing a promotion from tomorrow whenever it premieres until the 19th of July. The Wild Goose Shawlette will be for $3, no coupon code needed, on Ravelry, and then it'll go up to its regular price of $5 on the 20th. So definitely check it out. Keep an eye out for it. All the pattern photos, I believe, the cover photo on the pattern and things like that will be in the Wild Goose Chase colorway. So I can't show you my finished object, but it's finished.
It's true. It's legit. I've seen it.
Which, by the way, I haven't added that into my Stash Dash goal. I should have went to the 5K. I've already blown the 3K out of the water with the sweater and everything. I'm up to like 4,000 something meters. So next year I'll try for the 5K. I just didn't think as busy as I've been, but
Yeah.
spinning helps with that too.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
So,
I have no finished objects.
all right, let's get into what's performing this week. The first thing on the needles are my algae socks. I'm using Knitterly Things Vesper sock yarn in the algae colorway on size 1.5 US, 2.5 millimeters. These are my signature DPNs. And this morning, while I was watching Susan B. Anderson's podcast, I've started watching hers. I watched her first one, and then I'm on the most recent one. Kind of jumped around. She doesn't record very often. It's just here or there. But anyway, I started the second one, and this is 10 rounds into my 20 round cup. And so you're like, you finished the first one? I did. I have a hoe minus the heel. I did from the Dicky Doo on down, so I was about 10 rounds away from the toe, and I did my rounded toe, so you can see it's not as boxy and pointy. And of course, I got that one little strip of green. But what worked out nicely is I started, if you can tell here, I start the top of my striped socks. When you fold the yarn over to do a long tail cast on, I do it at a color change. I learned that trick from Rain Lover Knits. So the one stripe is the same color as this, so I only had to pull out basically one color to start the second one, so there wasn't a lot of yarn waste, which is great. So this is the Vesper sock yarn. Like I said, it's our older base, which is the 100% superwash merino. but I tend to wear mine around the house, though I think I said last week I'm going to give these to my quote-unquote stepfather-in-law, Sandy's stepfather, for Christmas. So that's that. Alright, the second thing I'm working on, and that's living in my Fat Squirrel sock bag. This is Charlie Harper with foxes. I'm super excited. I'm rooming with Amy Beth at SSK. We're going to be bosom buddies. I've already made it in my mind that that's what I'm going to call us the whole week. She's going to be like, get me away from him. Like, by the end of it. But I've had fun putting together a little roomy package. So, one of my most favorite things I got for it is being shipped and probably will not be delivered until Wednesday when I'm leaving at the butt crack of dawn. So, I'll probably have to mail that off to her after the retreat. But it is what it is.
Too bad for those Amazon drones.
Yeah, it wasn't Amazon, though. It was shipped directly from the person. So, anyway, the second thing I'm working on is the Antarctis by Janine Callio. And I'm using Ancient Arts, their 75-25 Superwash Merino Nylon Sock in the Intuit Art colorway. I did not get a whole lot done on here. I got one more section done. I had to go back to the beginning. You repeat the sections. So I got from the Dicky Doo here, again, about 12 rows. But you can see it's wonderfully variegated. And I will be bringing this as well as a bunch of FOs and a new skein of yarn to cast on for a boomerang at SSK. I volunteered and got selected as one of the breakout sessions, which basically is a volunteer, kind of like the classes at ZK, where people volunteer to teach and whoever wants to come can come. And I'm teaching the boomerang shawl shape and modifications you can make to that. So I'm really excited. I've never taught knitting ever. So this is going to be very basic, about 10 minutes me talking motorcycle, and about the rest of the time chit-chat and talking about how we can modify. But I have things I need to prep for that as well, probably done tomorrow or Tuesday. So that's that, and that's done on size 6 needles, 4mm. The next thing I'm working on is the Felicity Cowl by Megan Sanders. I'm using Barocco Folio in the Monhagen colorway on size 5 US, 3.75mm. And I just started the patterning. The patterning is not hard, though it does take about 2 to 3 times as long to do a row as a normal row. But you can see from the Dicky Doo, I did put it in, what's going on. So it has this rolled stockinette bottom, and then it goes into this patterning. It's very simple, but I'm going to be bringing all my projects I think are simple enough to bring to the retreat. So that's going, and these are on my Carbons Interchangeables. And the last thing, I cast on another shop sample, or knitting out of my yarn. They don't all make it into the booth or whatever. And I'm kind of falling in love with this pattern simply for the fact that it's so simple. I can knit literally a couple stitches and I don't have to worry about where I'm at in the pattern while I'm rescanning. So I decided to start a shop sample out of our new base that's going to premiere at SSK called Playbill. We had previously offered it as a wholesale-only base, which meant our wholesale customers could order it, and we would not carry it. But only one shop ever ordered it, and they haven't ordered it since. So I was like, you guys need to enjoy this yarn. So it's a single-ply DK, and I'm knitting in the obscured colorway, so it's kind of camo. You know, camouflage is meant to obscure you in the wilderness, which is why my leading man came up with that colorway, with a name. And I am doing the Ricky Hat by Sarah Young. Again, I'm using Leading Man Fiber Arts Playbill in the obscured colorway on sizes 4 and 7 US, which is 3.5 and 4.5 millimeters. And I got all this done, minus my tail. All this done while rescanning this week. And this yarn. Jeez.
Impressive.
So, oh, well, I'm not doing the cheater way where you wrap and turn so you're knitting the whole time. I don't mind purling. It doesn't bother me. So, but you still get, your back seam. So at least you always know which is the front and back. So I'm in the middle of a round. It was spiraling on the fours. It's all garter stitch. You do a tighter brim, and then it loosens up and becomes a slouchy hat. So it is what it is. It's not necessarily my colors, but, you know, I've got to knit with her yarn. And I'll speak to somebody. This might go to my brother-in-law for Christmas. I haven't decided yet. So I'm at about 6 1/4 inches. I got to go to 7 or 9 and then do the decreases. This is a free pattern as well on Ravelry. So I was worried when I was knitting it on the 4s that it wasn't going to be big enough, but it does stretch. It doesn't look too bad on the head. But it's supposed to have a slouch to it. So this may be a go-to pattern for me. We'll see. We'll see. So that's all I'm working on this week.
Cool. I haven't made much progress, but I did get the purple stripe done on the top here. So, yep. This is where I'm at.
It's gotta be one of my favorite ones you've done.
Well, thank you. That's not sarcastic. I do. Like, it's just been a labor of intense love.
Are you looking forward to having no obligations after that?
Yes, I am.
Or are you going to be like me in the commission knitting and
No, I'm not.
Say I'm not going to have any obligations, and then 2 weeks later, so somebody else is pregnant, and I might have told them they can get a baby blanket.
No, I'm actually, I'm a little bit distraught because 2 of my coworkers are leaving, and, one is someone that I went to I went to grade school, junior high, high school with. And so, we didn't talk, when we were in college or anything, and she's older than me by 2 years. But it's been nice for the last 3 years to reconnect since we've started working together. I'm just, I'm a little bit, now it's like when she graduated all over again. I know that I'll still be able to see her, but it's not going to be the same dynamics, and it just makes me a little sad. But I know her and her husband are going to start trying to have kids, and, for sure I will knit her a blanket. But I'm thinking I might get a jump start on it and just put it back and save it for when that day comes. So, because I think I'm going to do something that I've already done, a pattern-wise.
Cool.
So, anywho, that's all I'm actively working on as far as that goes.
Well, what's in the rehearsal this week? I actually have something. I've picked out my sweater pattern for our sweater knit along, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I either need to finish this or the Antarctis before I can cast it on. But I knew I wanted to do a cardigan. I told Callie this. I knew I wanted to do a cardigan. I've done one other cardigan, but it was a woman's cardigan. And my mom actually took it. She really liked it. And so all my sweaters that I have are pullovers. And I'm bringing all of them to SSK for the try-it-on room, even though there's not going to be another guy there to try them on. But
door tickets.
If people want door prize tickets, and if, people want to get ideas for the men in their life, then they can take a look at them at least. I knew I wanted to do a cardigan, and I wanted to start by looking at my oldest sweater's lot of yarn. And this is from a long time ago, 2009, 8, 9. Yeah. I got this from Webb's before we were even in our apartment. So before I started my job. And so this is Elizabeth Lavold Silky Wool in color 65. I don't know what it is, or what the colorway is. 45% wool, 35% silk, 20% nylon, and I have 13 skeins of this. They're 50-gram skeins. I have just under 2,500 yards, and the pattern I picked, I need 23 something. So it's this beautiful dark blue, which is going to blow out, of course. And it's looking black, gray. It is like a blue, kind of gray, but it's blue. Anyway, it's my oldest sweater's lot of yarn. So I was like, I need to use it. So, like I said, I paired a pattern with it, and if it fit, if it was a cardigan, I was going to knit it. And it is. And it's technically, I was telling Callie, it's designed for women. But it's kind of that oversized women's sweater.
Boyfriend cardigan.
Kind of. Even though it's knit with 1 inch of negative ease. So this is the Portage by Melissa Shashwari. And here's the pattern. Sorry, try not to get the glare. So I like the pockets. I like the kind of shawl, small shawl collar. I really want this for just in the wintertime. Rather than putting on a hoodie, I just want to put this on and be comfy in it with my PJ pants. So I also really like the back detail. It has this interesting texture in the back. So I'm excited to get started on this and see where it goes. See if there's anything else I wanted to show you.
I like the back detail a lot.
Yeah, and I'd show that. This doesn't really show the shawl collar though.
Isn't the back part repeated on the cuffs too?
I don't think so, because they look like they're rolled over cuffs. Yeah. But you can see the pocket here. So I've never done anything kind of like this. And I'm excited to get started on that once I can. But that's in rehearsal for me. The other thing that's in rehearsal is a boomerang that I will start during my breakout session at SSK. My breakout session's on Thursday, so it's relatively early in the retreat, so I'll be able to knit on it. Some Friday, maybe a little bit on Saturday. Not like during the market, but maybe afterwards. So we'll see. And I think I'm going to pick a sock blank to use from rather than a skein of yarn to kind of show that it doesn't just have to be socks. And I've never knit from one of our sock blanks yet, so I figured give me a shot to do so. So that's what's in rehearsal for me.
So I have also picked out my sweater pattern. That was the pattern was graciously donated to me, or gifted to me, I should say, by the lovely Lala. And it's the Hitafude cardigan, so I'm very excited about that. So thank you, Laura, for the pattern. And I put in a custom colorway with Steve, and I am doing it.
Custom order, not colorway. Should not make
Yes.
me come up with a new colorway.
Correct. Sorry. So, but I could if I wanted to.
Yes.
Because I'm challenging.
We
with
still
that.
have notes for that one you wanted to do.
Yeah. Sorry, I got sidetracked on another thought that I meant to tell you. So I chose the Soliloquy base, and I am doing it in Raspberry Parfait. So I'm very excited. It's a color that I really enjoy, and it also happens to look very good on me, if I do say so myself. I have a fleece jacket in the same colorway almost, and so I kind of enjoy that color. So yeah. So once Steve and Andy get that dyed up for me, then I will be casting on. But until then, I'm going to be marking on the pattern, my size, and circling all of that jazz. So, fun stuff.
All right, spinning. Spinning, I've not done much because I've not been up here to spin. I am still working on the alpaca / we think nylon. I don't know. Picked it up at our Apple and Pork Festival. It was kind of a mystery. I just knew it was alpaca. I split it in half. It was 4 ounces. I'm spinning 2 ounces. You can see there's a lot of veg matter in it. Some is coming out while I'm spinning. Some is being spun into it, honestly. It's rustic. Not really. It's very soft.
Mm-hmm.
So I just it's kind of matted, but I just have this much left to go. And then when I get back from SSK, because I probably won't be done, afterwards I'm going to spin up this as another ply. This is 2 ounces of Chasing Rainbow Dye Works, which they are still in business on their website. It's 50% tencel, 50% wool in the Merlot colorway. And I'm going to do this as another ply and do a 2-ply. Sorry, my voice is going. This happens in the summer. I don't talk very much, so I'm not used to talking, and my voice is a bit rough. So, that's all the spinning that I have this week. It's not been a whole lot. In the spotlight, what am I watching and reading? I caught up on Wayward Pines. There's only 2 more episodes left of that. I do have Proof left to watch from last week. I have not watched that. I did start a new show. I had seen commercials for The Strain premieres tonight, actually, on Sunday. Well, I had Andy try to set up a recording for it, and he's like, well, this is season 2 that's premiering. They only have the last 3 episodes of season 1. Do you want to try to find it online? I was like, that's weird. Okay. So I found it yesterday, and I'm on like episode 6 out of 13 of season 1. So of course I want to finish season 1 before I watch season 2. But it's kind of vampire / virus type thing. If you've ever played the video game Resident Evil, where the things come out of their mouths, and it's kind of like that, but vampire-esque. It's interesting. There's only a couple names you might know. I don't actually know the guy's name, but he was the bald guy in the first season of House of Cards, which we have not watched in forever. We're still on the first season. But the bald guy trying to go for governor or whatever, Russo, he's the lead guy, but he has hair, so it took us a while to figure out who he was. And then Sean Astin's in it. You might know him from The Lord of the Rings, the one that Frodo and him had a bromance. And I think he was a child actor, I'm not sure.
Who was it?
Sean Astin.
I don't know.
So, other than that, there's, people you might recognize from things here or there, but I'm relatively enjoying it. I put it on and watch it while I'm rescanning, because I'm almost pretty much caught up on podcasts, so. I'm still listening to Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. We'll see if I listen to it on my ride down to Nashville. I could potentially do that. We'll see, though. It's going. I'm only about halfway through it, so that's it for me. I'm sorry.
Cool. What I'm watching, I haven't been watching too much of anything lately. I am caught up on Big Brother. I'm a little sad that Da'Vonne is gone, because I thought she would have really made the game interesting had she stayed, but that's not my choice. And so, yeah, now I really don't know who I'm rooting for in the house, because I've been trying to keep up on live feeds and also through Twitter, so it is what it is. I'm just not feeling compassionate towards one person. So, that's going. There's not really anything else that I've been watching, because that's on Wednesday and Wednesday and Thursday night, and then Sunday, so it takes up quite a bit of my TV programming. But what I'm reading, I'm still reading Matilda by Roald Dahl. I'm just kind of taking my time with it because I enjoy it. I'm also reading 2 or 3 other books, but none that's really grabbed my attention. I'm about 10 pages in on each of them, so it is what it is. But I did want to say, I did, on my way back from Champaign on Friday, it was my time to be off anyways from work because I had put in my hours. So I stopped by the Champaign Barnes & Noble, which is huge. It's 5 times bigger than the one that we have in Bloomington. And so I went in there, and I found my planner, so I was really excited about that. But they have one whole separate room for all of their music and DVD collections. And I had heard through Facebook that Alabama Shakes had put out a new album. I knew that, and it's called Sound and Color. And I knew that they did a special LP edition of it because they put the LP there. It's a two LP set, and they're actual records. So one of the records in the set is on clear vinyl, and the other one is on regular vinyl, I believe, and it comes with a digital download. Well, I was really considering buying it, but I was like, well, I'm going to use the CD more than I would the actual LPs. And so I bought the CD, and I have to say I'm completely blown away. I'm late to the Alabama Shakes bandwagon, but I really do like it. It's kind of really like a laid back, Black Keys kind of sound, so it's kind of got that traditional Memphis kind of sound, mixed with kind of a little bit of a Jack Johnson kind of laid back vibe, meets like the Mama and Papas. So it's very kind of California vibe meets like that Memphis sound, laid back. My best suggestion is give them a try. Find them on YouTube, watch a few music videos or their performances like on Jimmy Fallon or other late night shows. Because I think it's a really unique sound, but it feels like home. It feels very comforting. So I'd give them a try if you have enjoyed them in the past. So that's my musical recommendation for the week.
Never heard of them. Okay, stash enhancement. I forgot to show you one thing last week, and I have something new this week. Both are clubs and or pre-orders. So last week I had my Three Waters Farm top of the month club, and I totally was sitting behind the computer and I totally forgot to grab it. So the July colorway comes on Organic Polworth, and it's called Clear Light Dawning. And once again, they blow me out of the water.
It's really gorgeous.
So again, I highly recommend the Three Waters Farm top of the month club. I've only spun one of them, and I've been in it since, I don't know, February. Oh. But the color sense is just amazing, and they never cease to amaze. The other thing is, just keep an eye out for the dog. I'll pick it up when you're talking to him. Fell on the floor. The other thing is a pre-order I did through Mustache Yarns. I had done her summer concert tour series for June and July. For some reason I thought it was coming in August, but I guess it was July. I looked it up. And I'm not sure what her third colorway is. I know she has a third one coming out in September, I think. She hasn't podcasted in a long time. I know she's prepping for SSK. In fact, our booths are right next to each other. And this colorway is called Wish You Were Here. And it's on her Perfect Sock Self-Striping. Again, it's in the OCD, so it's two perfectly matched skeins skeined together. And it's a semi-solid blue with a gradiating orange stripe. So it goes from like dark into light into dark, all in one stripe for the orange. So I kind of really liked it. I thought it was interesting, and she gives you all this information about the record in which this inspiration came from. And yeah, so definitely check out her shop. I know she sells out pretty quickly. She's been a fan of the Yarn Harlots, the Yarn Harlot has been a fan of her and posted about her, so she's very, very popular. But I got in on that pre-order and snatched her right up. So I'll love to see when they get knit up how they look. So I'll make sure to show it on the podcast when I knit it up for you guys. Awesome. Whatever that'll be. So that's all my stash enhancement this week.
We do have a book to review.
We do.
And it was generously gifted to us by Cooperative Press, so we thank them in advance. And there will be a copy up for grabs. After our review, we will post a thread in our group with probably the question of, what's your favorite pattern from the book? And if you could, what would you knit with?
Corn Dog's all spread eagle, just sleeping with his paws on his back.
I was like, you're a little close to my face there.
Sorry.
So, would you like to show the fine folks that are watching our book?
I would. Let me just find it.
I'm horrible with titles, so I've got about half of it right in my head, and the other half is like, don't say it.
This is Color Wheel Knits for Hand-Dyed Yarns, by Vera Valimaki, and put out through Cooperative Press. As we know, book reviews kind of go viral through Cooperative Press. They approach a lot of podcasters, so we hope to give you our take on it. We're not going to show you all the patterns, or we're not going to spend a huge amount of time, just because if you watch a lot of podcasts, you've probably heard about this book. So, what's really interesting is she does split this up into different color segments. She has patterns, not only sweaters, but a good deal of sweaters, also accessories, and she designs not just for the female, but for the male as well. This originally was put out, I believe, in Finnish, and it has now been re-released in English, so that's where, the good push comes for it. She does a whole article about color play, and things of that nature, and what color can mean, and why knitting with hand-dyed yarns, which I appreciate, can add a lot to your knitting. So the photography in this book is stunning.
It is.
I will tell you that they photograph the yarn in amazing ways, and not only that, but they also photograph the project too. So this first one is called Concrete. It's an easy-to-wear long pullover with a large warming cowl. Garter stitch ribbed paired with rustic wool makes this little piece a joy to knit, especially in the vivid and perfectly named blue colorway, A Whale's Song, which is through Luitar by Knitlab's Lair. I'm not sure. It's a sport weight yarn. And here's a quick picture of it. It's a short sleeve with a cowl, so you wear something long sleeve underneath it. And I will show you here she has hand-drawn sketches, schematics with measurements and everything, which is it's really nice. Nice little added detail. You can get a close-up of the cowl there.
I think it's very much like if you were to find or do Vera's patterns, she has wonderful sketches, she's got the schematics going on, and really, as Steve said, the photography blew me away. When we first opened this to look at it, to talk about what we were going to review, that's the first thing I said the photography in this is stunning. One other thing that Steve forgot to mention was that there are kids' patterns in here as well. Mm-hmm. So, there's something for everyone in the family. And your friends and your neighbors and random people that you just feel kind towards.
I did forget to mention the first section of the book is blues and green. And so that sweater falls in that. There's a hat and a boy's sweater and a girl's sweater and another sweater. We didn't really care for one of the details, so we're skipping over those. But the last one in blue and green is called Ground. And it says, Ground is the clean design of this open, loose-fitting vest makes it a wonderfully versatile piece that works anywhere from the office to a more informal setting. The vest is a fun and smooth knitting project worked in one piece with garter stitch and shaped using short rows. And it calls for Madeline Tosh Sport. And I like that there's this just right there little paragraph that tells you some of the techniques that are going to be used, where you can wear this pattern, things of that. And, it helps us as a reviewer, but it also is really nice that it's right there under the title of the pattern. And you can go, well, maybe not today. I'll come back to that. But I really like this. It doesn't scream vest because it almost has these they're not cap sleeves, but these drop-down sleeves almost. Sorry, I'm tilting it to try to get the glare of the window out of it. So. And really enjoyed that. It seems like it's a lot of garter stitch, which would be simple. The fronts, it looks like you can knit it sideways, up and down, and then you knit it across in the back. So I don't know if you can see the detail there under her arm and the back. So interesting construction. At least from what I've knit of Vera's, which isn't a whole lot. The Neon Beast I just did. there's simplicity in her designs, but yet it's an interesting construction that you wouldn't have thought of before that keeps your mind and passion for the project engaged, but yet it's a soothing knit. So really, really enjoyed that about that. So then we get into the red and pink section. And the one thing that we were a little disappointed in was that there is not a clickable index or a table of contents to go back to. So luckily I'm using iBooks for this, and I can go to a photo table of contents type of thing and flip through it. There's another little girl's sweater that we didn't really care for. It's a lot of frills. A hat we didn't really like the shape of. But then there's Little Red. Little Red is a lovely everyday cardigan with plenty of soothing garter stitch. In this light pink or rosy colorway, it looks both sweet and comfortable. It calls for Madeline Tosh DK. And so it's just a very simple cardigan with lots of garter stitch.
I think it would be perfect for the fall, and I've made this comment about a lot of cardigans that are kind of built this way. I mean, kind of here in the Midwest, I mean, between October and kind of really the first snowfall, there's a lot of times where you can get by without wearing a coat, and I think that would be kind of perfect if you knit it in like maybe a little bit of a bulkier weight, so then that way there was some more added warmth if it was like done in alpaca or whatever. But that's just my thoughts on that.
Of course, if you went up, you would have to do some math and things like that. It does have a hood. There's no real good picture of it. It's actually the best picture is in the schematic, the hand-drawn thing, but there is a hood on that. And then we go into a man's sweater called Wonder Stripes. This pullover is a wonderful wardrobe essential with a modern twist. The stripe detail makes this truly a one-of-a-kind project. Wonder Stripes is worked from top down in one piece, and the sleeve caps and collar ribbing are shaped with short rows. So it's nice to find a top-down construction men's sweater. This calls for the plucky knitter, Primo Sport, and a lot of people who have reviewed this have commented on this guy's expression. I don't really enjoy the neck shaping, and I don't know if I necessarily need stripes in that section of me, the mid section, but I thought it was interesting. It's a different construction. It has buttons along the shoulders. If you have a really gigantic head like infants, I guess. I don't know. I think I might have queued this. I don't know if I would put this in my queue anymore. I already knew the color didn't scream me, and maybe that's why that guy has that adventure or that expression on his face. But yeah, I don't know if that would work for me. It's a little adventurous for me. And if you can see here, the stripes are actually in the schematic, they're off, which then kind of puts a weird line, like you have a misshapen stomach.
I think it would have been interesting if it was more like a traditional neckline. It looks very boat neck-esque, and I think like for a guy's sweater, it would have been nicer if it was like a V-neck or your traditional kind of collarbone.
It looks rather frumpy and unfinished to me. And the other thing is, look at those stripes. It's got that zigzag where you don't do the stripes down your midsection. So, I don't know. Yes, he looks so forlorn there.
I hate buttons.
You see the collar? It just looks like it's kind of rolled down. And it's interesting. If you get into it, great. But the next pattern is absolutely stunning, and that's a float in red. Tune into deep red with this wonderfully shaped open cardigan. The cardigan is versatile and warm. It is the long line of a boyfriend-style cardigan, but with a more fitted shape. It's shaped with plenty of short rows and has great big pockets. This calls for the Uncommon Thread Merino Sport. Lots of sport weight sweaters. So you can just see she is liking the sweater. Lovely coloring there.
I like this sweater a lot.
You can see the schematic, how it's just, it looks very comfy.
Yeah.
You can see it's kind of got pockets, almost like the one I'm considering in it.
To me, I think like those boyfriend cardigans or boyfriend jackets or whatever. To me, I think those are really great reading jackets. You know, you're just in your house. It's kind of drafty. Not that your house is drafty, but you know what I mean? Like, it just, to me, it looks very cozy. Like, I could, you know, read.
The other thing I want to point out is how long this sweater is. I know a lot of sweaters, especially 3/4 length, can come to mid-back to just at your waistline, which there is a sweater or two in here like that. We chose not to review, but this one is very nice length with plenty of ribbing. Oh, somebody's home early. So, and then we have the, you might see him, he's going to come in right over here, he's probably going to go take a nap. Wait for it. Oh, he just threw the deuces. Alright, I don't care for that one. We move into the yellow section, and we have the bric-a-brac, which is a cowl and beanie set just perfect for keeping you warm in the coldest days of the year. The set is worked with playful short rows and reverse colors for a super fun knitting experience. So the hat is knit with a dominant and contrasting color, and then you flip that color if you want for the cowl. It calls for Rhintalian Lumutilia. I have no idea. So you have the hat here, which I don't mind. I don't know if I could pull off, but I wouldn't mind knitting it. It's not a huge investment like a sweater. And there's no real great picture of this cowl until a future pattern, but you can see the cowl mimics it, just reversing the colors. And then we have some children's sweaters again. And then we have the knit and purl mittens. Will keep your hands warm on the briskest winter days. Alternating stockinette and reverse stockinette stitch highlights the subtle tone changes in this plant-dyed yarn, which is that Rhintalian Lumutilia again. And it's these mittens, but you can actually see them better in this picture, which features the hat and cowl from before. And then we get into gray and brown color, and I think this is the last one. And I really like this sweater. This is Skyline. This clean lines of the 60s and the ever-fashionable sailor style inspired this uncomplicated tunic. The tunic is worked from the top down in one piece, featuring a cute boat neck and 3/4 sleeves, which calls for the uncommon thread silky merino fingering. It's this beautiful gray color. Again, lots of length on this sweater, which I know a lot of people are fans of.
I'm just going to say, for me, I like the longer length. This is going to sound really nutso, and it's not meant to, but I really like the longer length, and I think about it this way. I did marching band for all 4 years when I was in high school, and I did a lot of like parade watching too, because we're from Central Illinois and we've got a parade for everything. You know, Valentine's Day parade, Halloween parade, parades. And to me, parades. To me, what I really like about those longer in the back sweaters is if you stand or sit for a parade for a long time, your butt gets cold. And that's what I really like and appreciate about these longer in the back sweaters, because it keeps your hiney warm.
The other thing that I thought was interesting by quickly glancing at the schematic is it almost seems like the whole sweater kind of bells out, which I know a lot of at least knitters that I engage with, watch, things like that, they like a little more width towards the bottom half. So kind of that 60s mod kind of thing. Just a little hint of that. The next one is called Freezing Point. It's a funky design meets easy knitting in this warm sweater for men. The patch details on the body and sleeves add an edgy touch to this laid-back winter essential, and this calls for Plucky Rustic by the Plucky Knitter. And I kind of really liked this. I liked the cowl, I liked the button part. I really see myself knitting this. It has some interesting details at the bottom with garter. I mean, you could obviously change that up, but if you can see just this little patch of garter stitch that goes up into the body. It's something engaging and interesting. It's a little bit different.
I just wish the model didn't look like he had a mild form of IBS.
The next one is called Grid Plan. Round and round you go. Add some texture to the grid plan is ready. A wonderful deep brown color makes this extra soft cowl even more wonderful to wear, and with big needles it knits up super quick. It calls for 2 skeins of Primo Aaron by the Plucky Knitter. I kind of wish she would have urged it out a little bit more in the Indie Dyers. She uses Uncommon Thread, Plucky Knitter, Madeline Tosh. They're very large, which is great that it's a little more accessible, but if you want to showcase indie dyed yarn, showcase indie dyed yarn. Anyway, here's the cowl doubly wrapped. Looks like anything, great. But what I really liked was the cushiness and the interesting texture of this. If I could blow it up here. You can see it's kind of got those circles of stockinette, which are really interesting and play with the hand-dyed yarn effect. And would be a nice infinity scarf. So, the last thing is Be Mine, a cardigan you can wear for all seasons. A lovingly loose funnel neck, short row shaping at the neck, and an A-line shaping in the body makes this cardigan fun to knit and easy to wear. Calls for Top Draw Socks by Skein, and you can see it here. It's a little dark. And then you can kind of see the cowl neck in that photo. And I think that's pretty much about it. Another side shot. So there's no great full body shot of this sweater. But, and there's one more. It's a cabled scarf that calls for Merino DK by String Theory. I just thought it's pretty simple. It's nice that she added another accessory for men in this pattern, or in this book. So, there's a couple other patterns in here, but nothing we're going to really go into. There's a technique section, things like that. If I am correct, this retails for $26.95 on Cooperative Press's website and $16.95 for the digital copy through Ravelry. And of course, if you buy it through Cooperative Press, you get a digital copy code with the book. Yeah. And it says you can get it for Amazon for $22.23 right now, but I don't believe that those come with the digital coupon codes. So, but Cooperative Press has graciously given us a copy to give away, so we're going to open up a thread. Must be a member of the group. You'll have 2 weeks to enter until I get back from SSK, so it'll give you a nice time to put in for that. We'd love to know what pattern you would most want to knit first from the book, and really, maybe what indie dyed yarn, hand dyed yarn you would want to knit with it. If you could, pictures would be appreciated.
I think there's a lot of diversity in this book, in the terms of, like, there's kids' patterns, there's guys' patterns, there's women's patterns, there's accessories. So I think it's definitely worth the money for the book. So if you're on the edge about it, I would say go ahead and get it. There's a lot of really great pieces. And while she groups them in, color-specific sections, doesn't mean that you're limited to that choice, of course.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of really great information in there, so definitely check it out.
So that's our review on Color Wheel Knits by Vera Valmaki. And thank you again, Cooperative Press.
Thank you.
So, we do want to tell you about our sweater knit along, which has kicked off since last week.
Yes. So it will run from July 1, so you had to have started on or after July 1. It is going to run until October 31. That's when we will close the thread and we will draw for the winners at the next time we record. Rules for the cowl is you do have to be a member of the group. 1 post per finished object in the finished object thread. If you use any base of Leading Man Fiber Arts, you can get 2 posts, one for your finished object and one for using their yarn. And it can be of any weight. It does have to be an adult sweater. It can be a cardigan. It can be a pullover. It has to be classified as a sweater in Ravelry, though. And it does have to have some form of sleeves. So, no vest.
Now, like, the vest in this book, I would consider counting, because it kind of had sleeves.
Sleeves, yes.
If you have questions, please private message one of us.
Yep.
Preferably Callie.
Mm-hmm.
She has no problem being the person. So she'll just give her a link to the pattern. She'll give you a yay or nay before you cast on.
Yep. Or ear burn me in the thread. That's good too. I think
if you need help, use our chatter thread.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have private messaged me with questions. I'm not a veteran sweater knitter. I've only knit maybe a handful, 4 or 5 sweaters in my life. I don't have a whole lot of great advice. I tend to just blindly jump into things, and if they work, they work. Just like the sweater I'm planning on knitting. If it doesn't look good on me, it'll go to somebody. I got the pleasure of knitting, but that's how I am. So use our chatter thread. I'm sure there are veteran sweater knitters who are going to be joining along with us that can help you.
Plus, I mean, there's a lot of sweater cows going on right now. A lot. So, you can double, triple dip. That's fine with us. Just make sure that it's fine with the group that you're going to be also entering it in, because they may have their own rules and that may not be okay for them to accept multiple things. So just double check before you do that. So yes, we hope you'll join us. We will be offering, Steve is offering a sweater lot as one of the prizes. I'm offering a sweater lot. So those are 2 for sure prizes. We will have many others based on every 50 that we get. So hopefully we'll have a lot of you join. So that is that.
Our July Race to the Finished Object contest is also going on, and that means anything you finish in the month of July, doesn't matter when you started it, you can post a picture of your finished object for a chance to win one of 2 wonderful prizes. And you post a picture for each thing you finish. You can enter as many things as you finish in the month of July. You do only get 1 post per finished object. If you use Leading Man Fiber Arts for this particular contest, you only get to enter it once.
But if you finish, if you finish the sweater and it's knit in Leading Man Fiber Arts, you get 2 automatic for the sweater, and you could always enter it into the race for the finished object. So you could technically get 3 chances of winning a fabulous prize.
Out of 1 project. So our prizes this month for July are a Dramatic Knits project bag, medium size, from the Silver Shed USA, and we'd like to thank Anne for donating that to us. And then we also have the pattern of your choice, a pattern of your choice, from our featured designer, who is Sarah Abram, who is posting fabulous pictures, because I think she is on holiday in Georgia, because she always puts hashtag Georgia the country, not the state, and she's taking some modeled shots while over there of 2 new designs that she will be releasing soon that feature Leading Man Fiber Arts. So check for that. I got to show Callie one of them before she goes. That's absolutely gorgeous stole, 3-color stole that she's working on. So I would like to thank Sarah for agreeing to be featured for that. All right, that's pretty much it for our regularly scheduled show. In fact, I don't even have much for Center Stage. All things Leading Man Fiber Arts, there's not a whole lot other than we're prepping for SSK. And then when we get back, we have about 16 days to prep for Stitches Midwest. So I did I checked some of the boards for the Stitches Midwest group. They are trying to organize a podcaster meetup. I am hoping, depending on when they schedule it, to be able to walk away from the booth for a little bit to say hi. I know that Megan of the Stockinette Zombies will be there. She has said that she's going to be there. Paula from Knitting Pipeline will be there. So we'll see. If you're coming to Stitches Midwest, I look forward to meeting you. Please stop by our booth. We'll be in booth 901, which is all the way in the front corner to your right when you walk in. But yeah, if you're going to be at SSK, I so look forward to meeting you. If I've met you before, please do not be afraid to say we've met before. But please also don't be offended if I don't remember. I have the memory of like a goldfish, which is, 2 seconds. So, please also don't be afraid to come up to me. Like I've said before, I'm very kind of shy in real life. So once you get me talking, I'm good to go. But you just gotta get me there. So, yeah, nothing really new in the shop. We've not been updating a whole lot. Just trying to gather stock. So, as always, you can put in a custom order through our shop, which there's a link right at the top. If you want to see Leading Man Fiber Arts in your local yarn store, talk us up. There is a wholesale order form up there at the top of the shop as well. And there's all of our information and email address where they can contact us for more information. So, other than that,
I had one last thing.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say thank you for all of the messages and posts in the threads, wishing their best that hopefully Illinois will get their stuff together and get us paid. My mom and I are both getting paid this paycheck. I have made the adult decision that while I could go to SSK, I'm not for sure of how long we will be in stalemate. And I'm not for sure how long our university will be paying us. I think a lot of people take for granted that, yes, we are still getting paid, but they have 3 campuses to support and 102 field offices with all of these different people that they need to pay. So for how long this is going to go, I'm not for sure. So in my adult responsibility thinking cap, I'm going to save my money until we for sure have a budget plan in place and it's been accepted and all of that fun stuff. So as sad as I am to not be at SSK, I've got to keep my best interest going. So I wish all of you a wonderful and happy SSK. I hope that you guys make smart choices and I don't see Instagram photos of you guys in jail. One, you probably won't have your phone, but someone on the outside might. So, but I hope you guys have a wonderful time. I wish that I could be there with you, but hopefully next year will be in the cards. I will also not be at Stitches Midwest, as that is our county fair week, and we will be no chance for time off. So I wish you all the best there. But until then, I just want to say thank you for all of the wonderful messages. It is something that we will get through, and it'll be just a little bit of a time. So thank you. But we'll see each other next week when we record, probably on Sunday again.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, just kidding.
Next week is SSK.
I was testing you all.
So we won't see you next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
But until then,
we hope you
knit something dramatic.